Recently, something big has happened in the tech world. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, openly admitted that the company made a grave mistake in the development of their latest version of ChatGPT, known as GPT 5.2. For a company that has dominated the AI landscape and set expectations for frontier artificial intelligence performance, this is a shockingly different tone from what has been seen before. In a recent developer town hall meeting, Altman didn't mince words when he conceded, "I think we just screwed that up," referring to GPT 5.2's language and writing abilities, a blunt admission rarely heard from a leading AI organization. What makes this moment even more newsworthy is not only the statement itself, but also the implications it has for OpenAI's role in the growing competitive landscape of AI. While Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, and even niche groups such as Moltbook are gaining traction, OpenAI's misstep has sparked a heated question. Has one of the most influential AI researchers in the tech world reached a plateau, or has it simply gotten the future of human-AI interaction wrong? When OpenAI first introduced ChatGPT over 3 years ago, it sparked a revolution in the accessibility of AI, making large language models, LLMs, into household names. People were impressed with the capabilities of the chatbot, which could write text, answer questions, help with creative writing, and even act as a coding assistant. However, the mantle passed from GPT-3 to GPT-4, then GPT-4.5, with each version promising to be smarter and more versatile. But GPT 5.2's rollout felt different. Instead of being hailed as a major breakthrough, it became controversial almost immediately. According to OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, the company deliberately chose to focus more on the technical skills of the model rather than its language skills during the development process. "We did decide, and I think for good reason, to put most of our effort in 5.2 into making it super good at intelligence, reasoning, coding, engineering, that kind of thing," Altman said, admitting openly that the lack of resources meant writing quality suffered. "And we have limited bandwidth here, and sometimes we focus on one thing and neglect another." This kind of strategic trade-off would have been controversial, even if confined to internal discussions. But the fact that a public, customer-facing model was released with those limitations exposed has sparked a lot of debate. Writing quality, a regression, not an evolution. One of the most striking criticisms that have come out since GPT 5.2's release has been its writing performance. People have noted that the writing style of GPT 5.2 is flatter, less engaging, and sometimes even incoherent compared to previous iterations. Data scientist Mehul Gupta, in a detailed review, described how GPT 5.2 struggled with real-world document handling, forgetting earlier details, contradicting itself, and even hallucinating false clarifications that simply weren't there. These failures, Gupta pointed out, reflect a regression in usability. Benchmarks are clean, he noted. Real documents are not. 5.2 still struggles with the noise of reality. Such candid assessments are rarely part of mainstream conversation around new AI models, but they underline a growing perception that performance gains in one domain have come at the expense of basic language skills. For the average user, such as bloggers, students, journalists, and content creators, these regressions have been impossible to ignore. In comparison to GPT-4.5, which was widely praised for its natural interaction and ease of use in creative writing, GPT 5.2 often produces stiff, unformatted, and substandard prose that requires extensive human editing. These issues are not to be taken lightly. For many users, the quality of their writing is the very reason they turn to AI assistants in the first place. OpenAI's explanation for this mismatch is rooted in a calculated design choice to emphasize technical tasks like coding, reasoning, and spreadsheet manipulation. GPT 5.2 does show improvements in these domains, but even here, the trend is not entirely consistent. Benchmark comparisons show that while GPT 5.2 performs strongly on some reasoning tasks, Other models such as Claude Opus 4.5 and Gemini 3 Pro have already surpassed it in practical coding benchmarks and writing quality. In professional benchmark tests, although GPT 5.2 has improved, it still lags behind in writing quality, and in certain coding exercises, its results have been termed as inconsistent or not aligned with the user's intention. On the other hand, Claude has been identified as the best model for natural writing, and Gemini is known for its speed and multimodal abilities. However, even those users who are extending the limits of the benchmark claim that GPT 5.2 can fail to understand prompt intent in nuanced coding tasks, generating broken HTML or incomplete code when compared to the functional results of other similar programs such as Gemini and Claude. In one such test, although Claude was able to produce a sophisticated landing page with functional CTAs and proper organization, GPT 5.2 was only able to produce unconnected lines of text that did not satisfy even the most basic user requirements. In the same test, Gemini was also able to produce functional results, although sometimes with a lack of flair or unnecessary verbosity. Competition is capitalizing. The backlash against GPT 5.2 has not occurred in a vacuum. As OpenAI faced criticism, competitors seized the opportunity to highlight their strengths. Google's Gemini, with the benefit of seamless integration with the overall Google platform, has witnessed an increasing number of users embracing the technology, especially in terms of multimodal knowledge and speed. Industry insiders have indicated that the pressure of competition has been such that OpenAI has issued a code red within the company to upgrade the performance of ChatGPT. The capabilities of Gemini, especially in multi-token and real-time scenarios, have proven attractive to users looking for an alternative to ChatGPT. On the other hand, Anthropic's Claude models have established themselves as a clear, natural language quality and emphasis on ethical, honest responses. Claude's approach to design is centered around creating helpful, understandable, and consistent responses, which have made it a favorite among professionals who use AI to write articles, essays, and well-crafted documents. This user-centric approach to language performance makes Claude a better option for creative and communication-related tasks, which GPT 5.2 has struggled with. The effect of this is that people, especially those who rely on AI for writing and content generation, are increasingly drifting away from ChatGPT. Users now prefer Claude for professional writing or Gemini for fast, fact-based work, leaving GPT 5.2 feeling like a step backward in core areas where ChatGPT once led the market. OpenAI's recent misstep with GPT 5.2 marks a turning point in the development of generative AI. In the company's own words, the writing abilities were pushed into the background in favor of technical sophistication, and what resulted is a system that, in the opinion of many, is less capable at the basic tasks of natural prose writing and document processing than earlier versions. Sam Altman's candid admission is a rare moment of transparency, but it also highlights a central tension in frontier AI development. Can one system truly be the best at everything, or must advances in one area necessarily come at the expense of another? OpenAI's acknowledgement of its flaws and promise of future improvements suggests that GPT 5.x still has room to grow. However, the fact that one of the industry's most powerful innovators publicly declared a screw-up reflects just how intense the competition has become. In the world of artificial intelligence, innovation is not enough. Execution in all areas is necessary. The question now is no longer whether ChatGPT can be improved, since it almost certainly will, but whether OpenAI can find its footing in an AI world where excellence is no longer defined by ambition, but by balance, reliability, and usefulness. One thing is certain: users now have more options than ever, and in the tech industry, loyalty is earned through performance, not promises. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and share this video with fellow tech lovers, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the tech industry.